Greetings and welcome to episode 163 of the Words About Gamescast, the weekly video game podcast for Words About Games. I'm your host, Amy Alexander, and I'm joined this week by Keith Robinson. Howdy, how are you?
Howdy!
I got rid of the chair. It's getting in the way. Like, as much as I wanted to, continue to have, a monument built into your absence. I kept
Not to my legacy or anything, to my absence.
Yeah. What does it they say about absence making the heart grow fonder?
Yeah.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
And say my trees are best.
We've got one hell of a show this week, Keith.
Yeah.
The simulation is breaking down. I think I text you when I was talking to you about
The
it.
cracks appearing in the matrix.
The cracks are definitely appearing. Fuck me. Okay, let me do the breakdown for you guys, and if you bail, that would be understandable. I wish I could bail sometimes. The Words About Gamescast is a weekly show where we discuss 5 topics centered around what's been going on in gaming, the games industry, and gaming culture over the past 7 days, before we leave you with a list of what's coming out this week. This week, we discuss EA apparently always calling loot boxes surprise mechanics and comparing them to Kinder Eggs, a trio of Xbox stories off the back of E3, Twitch's legal action against streamers who turned the Artifact tab into a porn-filled cesspit, May's NPD breakdown, and, amazingly, the strong and seemingly never-ending reaction to Tifa's bra. As always, timestamps are in echo.
Timestamps are in the video description below, people. So if you want to skip a specific, for instance, if you want to skip the EA Kinder Egg story and go right to Tifa's breast,
you do you. No judgment here. If you want to watch the entire podcast backwards, you go for it. That would be absolutely fine. Keith, do you want to try and postpone it, or do you want to just dive right in?
Dive right in.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll spare you my 3,000 word essay on why Cadence of Hyrule is the best Nintendo game ever. That might be slight hyperbole, but it's really good. Let's start with the first news story. Now that my iPad just decided that it hates landscape's the wrong word. Portrait. There we go. EA calls its loot boxes surprise mechanics and says they're used ethically. This is from Anna Diaz over at Polygon, who writes, a senior executive at Electronic Arts told the United Kingdom's Parliament that the company prefers to call loot boxes surprise mechanics, and argued that their use in EA games is quite ethical and quite fun and enjoyable to people. Appearing before a House of Commons committee on Wednesday, Kerry Hopkins, Vice President of Legal and Government Affairs at EA, responded to a member of Parliament who had asked if the publisher had any ethical qualms about their loot boxes. Their use in 2017's Star Wars Battlefront 2 kicked off a huge controversy that drew scrutiny from several governments, including those in the United States and Europe. Loot boxes in the form of Ultimate Team Packs are also a major source of revenue for EA's FIFA franchise. Hopkins compared loot boxes to other products. Kinder Eggs, a chocolate treat with a toy in its centre, and Hatchimals, a blind box-style toy hidden inside an egg. People like surprises, she said. But the comparison to Kinder Eggs was quite ironic, given that the chocolate eggs were banned in the United States until recently over concerns the prizes were a choking hazard. If there's one metaphor to describe loot boxes, there it is. Quote, we do think the way we've implemented these kinds of mechanics is quite ethical and quite fun. They aren't gambling, and we disagree that there's evidence that shows they lead to gambling, end quote. The British Parliament is investigating loot boxes over concern that they constitute gambling and the potential harm that could cause to children, citing anecdotal evidence and research that call loot boxes addictive. Where do you want to start? Where would you like to start talking about this?
Well,
Surprise me.
surprise mechanics is, well, it's apart from being surprising that the corner of surprise mechanics. When you think about it, surprise mechanics and loot boxes are both somewhat accurate words of describing what's going on. You don't actually know what's going to be in the box, so it could be considered surprising, and it is definitely a mechanic in the game. Saying that
Is it,
they're
though?
ethical and fun.
Is it a mechanic? Is it a game mechanic, though? Like, I was going to
It
go in a completely
was
different direction, but is a loot box a game
it
mechanic?
was in the game that kicked all of this off, which was Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah, that's
In
true, I
something like
suppose.
Overwatch, no, it's not a mechanic. But in Star Wars Battlefront 2, it was very much a mechanic for the game.
Preach.
And that kind of stopped the fun element in the game for most people. In fact, I pretty much everyone didn't find that like mechanic fun, which is why they took it out.
Yeah. I imagine there was
Well,
a.
one of the reasons they took it out.
I imagine there was an interesting phone call to be had between EA and Disney about the headlines that
I,
Battlefront 2 was generating.
I would love just on like a side note that I would love if it's like the phone call from Disney to EA. EA is like just got a phone call from the German company. I'm trying to remember what the people who make Kinder Eggs is like, we don't want our brand associated with you.
Yeah,
I would
imagine.
love it if that happened.
Well,
Stop calling them. Stop comparing them to Kinder
stop
Eggs.
comparing your shit to our Kinder Eggs. Someone did make a good point. I can't remember who it was now. I've watched a few videos and read a few things about this, and someone was saying like that they're by like comparing themselves to Kinder Eggs and Hatchimals,
Yeah,
and whatever else they compare themselves to. They're trying to
yeah.
make the loot boxes look good, like Kinder Eggs and Hatchimals. But like, and we'll get to this in a little bit. What if the committee is so fucking like clueless about how these things work that instead of like dragging loot boxes up to the level of Kinder Eggs, they drag Kinder Eggs to back down to their own level, and all of a sudden, like Kinder Eggs and Hatchimals get banned.
I can't like say anything about Hatchimals and stuff.
Like, imagine, like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, you know
But
what? You're absolutely right. Those fucking Kinder Eggs and Hatchimals as well. Like, we need to sort them out too. And there's some guy who's like in like PR at like Kinder, just like,
yeah.
what happened? We're getting what?
Yeah, I mean, it's like those pound things that you see in like supermarkets where you get a random thing out in a ball out of them. Let's get rid of them.
That's exactly the same as a loot box in a $60 video game. Let's get rid of those too. Not the same. Not the same thing at all. I
No,
mean,
I mean, I do love the
fuck me
idea that
sideways.
comparing them to Kinder Eggs of all, because one of my favorite comedians, Bill Bailey, did have a skit
Eggs of
about
numbing inevitability. Yes, I remember the sketch. Skit? Is it a
yes.
skit or a sketch?
But the full thing, which is like on Nicholas, I'll just quote it briefly. Between the horrible cheap chocolate and the tatty plastic toy, each and every Kinder Egg is guaranteed to provide the equivalent of 30 milligrams of heroin in disillusionment. Some individuals have become some overcome with despair and exposure to the eggs of numbing inevitably. They will attempt to eat the toy as well. I just love the idea of this like person goes like, oh, just like Kinder Eggs, and then in the background there's a feel like, but Kinder Eggs are shit.
Yeah, they're not great. But they have a
No,
toy. Yeah, I mean, in a
I
way,
mean,
you could compare the metaphor of, yeah, Kinder Eggs are kind of shitty, but you get a
yeah.
toy in them, and that's why kids love them. Loot boxes are kind of shitty, but you get stuff in them. And that's why kids love them.
Non-comport. Yeah. Just
Again, there is no comparison between like a
yeah. I
70p
mean,
chocolate egg or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know, I've bought one since like the 90s. And
yeah.
and a loot box in a $60
I
video
think it's
game.
less than 70p. But
Oh,
yeah, it's like the big difference between like a grand giving that kid like 50, 60p to get a kid and someone forking off like say $11, $12 for a couple of loot boxes because when you purchase them, I don't have much experience with them. You don't buy them individually, if I remember rightly.
No,
You buy
well,
like
no.
5 or 10s or 15s.
Yeah,
Or the value bundles, which can be like £100.
yeah, like a 50 set, which is like more than the game that they come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while. I know that. Yeah, I think you could buy them individually. Maybe it's been a long time since I've
Yeah.
done it
Probably wouldn't be the
myself.
most cost-effective approach. Whichever I remember, like some things, they don't actually show you the value buys or value bundles are the ones which shows you, oh, this is the best value bundle. Like each because the price of each one gives a discount, and you look at it. Yeah, that's like how much I earn in a month, dude. So no,
This is the
that
best
is
value
called the
bundle.
whale button. Mhm.
This is the best value one. Yeah, no, no. Monetarily, yeah, probably. But oh, jeez. I mean, you can see. I see what they're trying to do. Loot boxes has become a dirty word that's associated with bad things, so they're going to try and call it something else because while they're sitting there going, no, they're ethical and they're really fun, then say the word. I mean, if they're
Yeah, it's
ethical
like
and fun, just say the word, yeah?
it's like oh, we don't call what we do like loot box, we call them surprise mechanics. But would you call an identical thing in the game that's not made by a loot box or a surprise mechanic? Because they're trying to rebrand the word loot box into a surprise mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
But surprise mechanic
Well,
is
it's
such a general term, like we covered before. It covers like Five Nights at Freddy's, really. It's it's a
if you want to get
jump
really
scare
broad
game,
about it, yeah.
which uses surprise mechanics.
There's a GIF for the internet. um, yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Like, I mean, they did the same thing with microtransactions. Like, how many people do you see talking about microtransactions? No, it's recurrent consumer spending these days. We still call them microtransactions, but the
Yeah.
companies don't because microtransactions is a dirty word. And also, it doesn't really describe paid mods. That's the one. That's another one. A more recent thing where Bethesda released whatever the hell they tried to call it, which was just paid mods. But they were like, it's not called paid mods, therefore it's not paid mods, even though it was paid mods. The Creation
Yeah.
Club. That was the one. It's the same
I
thing. They
don't know,
just
I was thinking Artist Corner, and I was like, that's not right.
paid mods were bad. Creation Club good. And that's how stupid EA thinks everybody else is. Like,
To be fair, it does sound so far to the British government as opposed to general public.
we're going to talk about the British government in a moment. There was one more thing. The quote, they aren't gambling, and we disagree that there's evidence that shows they lead to gambling. The very next paragraph says the British Parliament is investigating loot boxes over concerns that they constitute gambling, citing anecdotal evidence and research that call loot boxes addictive. I mean, I've done this podcast long enough to have seen the studies that have linked one to the other. But he is like, no, we disagree that there's evidence. Like,
Are we that surprised? How much money did the tobacco industry put into disputing the claims that smoking led to cancer?
yeah, no,
Of
I'm not
any
surprised in the slightest. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to call it out. Because this is how stupid EA thinks you are. You, me, everybody. Oh, well, they said there's no evidence. They also said at one point, I don't think I wrote this down in the notes because there's a little bit more to talk about. They also said at one point that, oh fuck, I can't remember it. There was another one where it was like, we've done no research into, well, that was it. We've done no research into, like, the age of our users at all. Like, really? None whatsoever. Or there was another one where it was like, oh, we don't have any monetization specialists. We just have people who are in charge of running the cash shop. I mean,
Yeah.
okay?
I would be surprised if the companies like GTA did not have like a marketing department which looks at target demographics. And one of the target demographics is good. The big ones are going to be age and sex, like age and gender and stuff. It's like, so you're saying you don't have anywhere I would suggest it's like, like your target mainstream audience is like, between the like 18 and like 30-year-old white men.
Exactly. Like, what you've just said here is that you don't have anyone researching target market demographics. Okay. Okay, guys. That's how stupid they think we are. Do you think we've had enough of a laugh at EA's expense?
Yeah.
Do you want me to say surprise mechanics and translate with a straight face? I don't think I can. Because this was just like one small part of a big hours and hours long parliamentary hearing here in the United Kingdom. Our country is burning down around us, but sure, let's take the time to investigate those loot boxes.
At least they're saying, like, not everything in the country is stopped for the Brexit or the Conservative Party arguing amongst itself.
Truth. This is from me, I wrote this. Because there was like thousands of words that I could have put here to exemplify the point, but I've tried to boil it down a bit. The full parliamentary panel should worry anyone about politicians getting involved in video game regulation, because it was clear that they have no clue what they're talking about, nor did they seem to have done any research. Basic facts about how PlayStation accounts work, or their seeming belief that anyone who plays games as their primary source of entertainment should be categorized as having a gaming addiction, including both of us. And they even literally compared Fortnite to hard drugs. Here's an example between Clive Efford MP and Matthew Weisinger, Director of Marketing at Epic Games. Efford, is it possible to disable text messaging in Fortnite? Weisinger, do you mean in-game chat? Effort, no, text messaging. Weisinger, it's not possible to text message within Fortnite. This is, again, someone who works at Epic Games answering these questions. Effort, the info I have is that you can switch off the in-game chat, but not the text messaging. Weisinger, as part of our parental controls, you can control what access any player has. Effort, they can both be switched off. Weisinger, and I just... Yeah. Like, yeah, they can. Because one of them doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. This was more far-reaching than simply investigating loot boxes, and the MPs were keen to push ahead with their inaccurate and occasionally absurd statements, which is a worry that they and politicians from other countries who are performing similar investigations, i.e. America, are going to potentially legislate beyond loot boxes with negative effects on game as a whole. So thanks a lot, EA! I'm glad you're digging your heels in on this, because that's going to help. You're sitting in front of someone who works at Epic Games, who made the game Fortnite, and you've just said, can you turn the text messaging off? And that person has replied, there's no text messaging in the game. That person has no reason to lie. That fact can be verified within about 60 seconds. And the MP pushes ahead and says, no, according to the information I have, it does. Cool. Maybe just like think that you're talking to like somebody who would know the answer to that question and has just told you categorically that text messaging doesn't exist. You fucking idiot. Ooh. I went there. This is a spicy episode. Yeah, it sucks. The committee for whatever of loot box and Kinder Egg prevention sucks. And I calm down now. Fucking... Can we not just play games and be nice to each other? No, apparently not. Let's move on. We've got 3 Xbox stories because Xbox have been super active post E3. Unlike other video game companies. Part 1. Phil Spencer says Xbox is working to make Xbox Live an inclusive environment for everyone. This is from Colm Ahern. Sorry, at Video Gamer, who writes, Speaking with Kotaku about a recent blog post he wrote on making gaming a safe environment for everybody, Xbox head Phil Spencer said Xbox Live is not a free speech platform. It is not a place where anybody can come and say anything. And as we're working to ensure it's a safe and inclusive environment for everybody, I don't want to be opaque about it. I want to be out there front and centre so that you can understand our motivation. Spencer attributed some of the toxicity we see online every day to the anonymity of the internet, something that the Xbox head described as a really difficult place to unlock. Quote, one of the things we find in gaming that's actually really helpful to us is that because your Xbox Live account has friends and identity and state, there seems to be, and it's good, there seems to be a lot more care that a player takes in their identity and its reputation. Banning somebody on Twitter, it takes 5 seconds to create another account. So when we think about our ability in the long run to actually create a system that actually has some amount of capability to actually impact a lot of actuallys, to actually impact behaviour, we think the fact that our account has friends and history and relationships gives us a good relationship with the customer to actually impart some real rules and responsibilities. But I think it's just as much about gaming as it is about the community online. So Phil's out there, he's all like, nah mate, toxicity in this city. I was going to launch into it, but my throat's a bit raw. So I'm not going to do the system of a down thing. But, I mean, cool. Like, toxicity sucks. And, I mean, I put up my Dauntless video, like, I think it was a few weeks ago now. And when I was editing the last portions of the video, in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a text chat. And, well, I had to edit... I had to put something in front of the text chat, let's just put it that way. Because I hadn't realised it's not very visible, so I didn't see it while I was playing. I think I managed to play the game for hours without even knowing it was there. But, yeah, there was some shit in that chat where I was like, shit, I can't have this in my video. But I've already put all the clips in. So I put a picture of Picard, and I put it in front of it, and a little...
What about the double face palm?
Just the one, I think. And I just put a little explanation on it. So, I mean, I don't understand why people feel the need to be shitheads to other people online. Like, and any company that wants to stop that is okay in my books. I don't really care if the free speech of a racist or a sexist or a Nazi is impinged upon on Xbox Live. Like...
Yeah, I mean, free speech isn't what people think it is.
I know, right?
It's free. There's no country which has the free speech for some of these people to talk. You can say what you want, but you're not free from the consequences of your actions, which is what providers enforce. You don't say stuff. Or try to enforce.
Sometimes they enforce it. Depends which company. But I'm glad that Microsoft is grasping the nettle. That's a metaphor, right? It's a thing.
Yeah, grasping the nettle with both hands.
Cool. With both hands? Well, I guess they are grasping it with both hands. I'll allow it. Story number 2. By the way, if you ever want to say anything, just go, whoa there, and I'll stop. Story number 2. Xbox boss admits holding back big games at E3 2019. More studios should mean more quality. I've actually deleted the quote from the second half of that headline. So pretend all I said was Xbox boss admits holding back big games at E3 2019. And then nothing else. But this is from Nathan Birch over at WCC F Tech, although all I did was take the quote from Phil Spencer out of the story, which reads, one of the nice things I loved about the E3 2019 Xbox briefing was the things that we didn't show. Yeah, I love those too. I think about of the 14 first-party games, 12 are shipping in the next year. We were really able to focus on what's coming now, which I think is awesome. And then I think about the studios. Where was Initiative? Where was Turn 10? Where was Playground's second team? This hasn't always been the case with our first-party lineup, where we've had the ability to not show everything all the time. I mean, no kidding, right? Like,
Yeah.
um,
I mean, we all know that next year there's going to be 2 new consoles landing. We all know that the next E3 is going to be, boom, this is what's coming to our new console. This is our launch lineup. This is the games to get hyped about. So it doesn't surprise me that they've held some stuff back so that next year, when we get there, it's like, here are these brand new, like, first looks at these games that are coming to our new title. Also, the thing, I don't remember PlayStation showing anything new this year.
I know, man.
Not like
Like,
they aren't holding back.
PlayStation's E3 conference fucking sucked, man. It was like they weren't even there.
Yeah.
I watched Michael Huber of Easy Allies. He does the Huber report, and for E3 week, he did what he always does, where he just went around the show, talking to people, getting hyped, as Huber does. And he literally went to the the place where PlayStation would normally be, and it was literally vacant. So there was some like small partition walls up, and he's literally was wandering around going, "Oh, this is where Sony normally is, but it just feels like a void." And he's like, "Huh, maybe we can find them." And then he's just like opening doors, going, "Sony, are you in here?" Sony. It was a fun video, but yeah, I mean, like Fable is at this point, I think, an open secret as much as anything is an open secret in game development. It's obviously going to come for the new Xbox Scarlet.
Yeah.
So why would they show it at E3 just gone to then have to reshow it when they could just go, we've got, like, he comes out, because he showed 60 games this year, wasn't it? So let's say he comes out, Phil comes out at E3 2020, and he goes, we've got 60 games to show you. 10 of them are from our first party studios and are launching exclusively on Xbox, whatever the fuck we're going to end up calling it.
X like, gonna give it to you.
Xbox X gonna give it to you. Then everybody throws the X's up. Like,
then Mr. X just comes out, holds up Bill's mentor like, you know, Simba from the line. while Acquire sings out and the real name really gets revealed. Not a prediction, but we can hope.
I can hope for that. But yeah, it would make a much bigger splash of just like, oh my god, there's Fable, fuck, it's coming to the Xbox Scarlet, it looks so beautiful. Then, oh yeah, Fable, cool.
Yeah. I mean, they did kind of do we'll show it now, but it's definitely coming with Halo. I mean,
they kind of backed themselves into a corner with Halo because they showed the teaser last year, and I have a feeling Halo wasn't supposed to be a Scarlet launch title. I think internally, somewhere along the line, that game's been delayed because I don't think they would have showed a teaser for it at E3 without wanting it to be ready.
I mean, it might be something like Breath of the Wild, where it's available on both systems.
Oh, it'll definitely be like the way they've been talking about backwards compatibility and stuff. Like my Xbox will still be good to go with the games that come out on Scarlet. I just won't get them at 4K or whatever.
Yeah,
they won't look as good as the Scarlet versions, but they won't look as bad as Witcher on Switch.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the 1080 like sticker that I've still left on my Full HD TV for like 6 years.
Take it off your TV, you fucking monster!
Oh.
Let's move on. We've got another story. Microsoft, this is part 3. Microsoft cuts internal original content creators and producers at Inside Xbox and Mixer. In the wake of E3, this is from Amanda Farrow at GameDaily.biz, I should say. In the wake of E3, Microsoft is the latest to be hit by what appears to be a targeted round of layoffs. While layoffs of any sort in any department are bound to be devastating, the positions that have been affected appear to be related to the original content teams handling Inside Xbox and, as of today, Mixer. The Inside Xbox layoffs quietly happened prior to E3. And then it talks about blah blah blah, what Inside Xbox is. I don't even need to read the rest of that. Basically, it seems like if Inside Xbox is still going to be a thing, it's not going to be in the format that it has been, because they just sacked quite a lot of the hosts of that show, as it turns out, while nobody was looking, because we were all too busy with E3.
The E3 leaks, yeah.
Just E3 in general, like, and the E3 leaks, and people were like, the hosts, and I even follow the hosts on Twitter, and this was news to me until yesterday. Like, the hosts, like, tweeted about it, like, before E3, and I was like, completely missed it. And it sucks a bit, because Inside Xbox was cool. I liked it. I mean, it was never, like, earth shattering or, like,
I
amazing
mean,
content.
I have to put my hand on my heart
It's in your drawer.
and say, it's in a jar somewhere. I've never actually watched it.
It was fine. It was a good distraction for like an hour and a half. They talked about some games. They had a good time. Everybody seemed to be enjoying it. It was very different to like a direct or a state of play. It felt a bit more personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing it for that long. I'm pretty sure it only debuted last year. Because if I
Yeah.
remember correctly, the first episode was about Sea of Thieves, if I remember rightly. So I don't think it's been gone. I think it's just over a year. It was gone for. Um, which that kind of sucks. I hope Microsoft don't do what everybody else is doing. Just we're going to start doing directs now. Like everybody does directs. Most of them are boring because most of yous aren't Nintendo. like fucking
Give us
PlayStation.
right.
Like PlayStation does them and they're fucking boring. Like like I mean they did the Death Stranding one, which was completely nonsense. I didn't understand any of that. I don't think that was a state of play. But then the other two, it was like, I mean, yeah, Final Fantasy VII remake trailer was there, which basically was like a signpost to E3. We're gonna be at E3, and then I'm just like, I'm struggling to remember the other ones. Like, they weren't particularly great. They had that weird, professional, clean sounding lady's voice. Okay, up next, we've got to look at Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. Because I remember that was one of the things. It was like, okay. Like, this is what you're replacing A3 with and PSX with. And no.
Given how much spit and polish Sony had at E3.
Should we move on?
Yeah.
Let's talk about porn.
Oh. I didn't think we were going to Tifa yet.
No, not yet. Twitch sues streamers who flooded the artifact category with porn, but doesn't know who they are. This is from Annie Chalk over at PC Gamer, who writes, "The circus came to Twitch last month when somebody noticed that the category dedicated to Valve's artifact card game was a ghost town. Or, maybe more accurately, a void waiting to be filled. And fill it they did with memes, porn, and more. Twitch fought back, killing streams and suspending troll accounts as quickly as it could, but the internet is persistent and it took a while to rein things in. Last week, Twitch launched the next phase of its defensive operations, which is really more of a counterattack. It filed a lawsuit against the people who took part in the trolling for trademark infringement, fraud, breach of contract, and unauthorized use of its services." Yeah, that's all true. Quote, "The safety of Twitch's community is its top priority. For this reason, Twitch forbids obscene material as well as material depicting violence and threats. Its terms of service prohibit users from creating, uploading, or streaming any content that is unlawful, defamatory, obscene, pornographic, harassing, threatening, abusive, or otherwise objectionable." Beginning on or about May 25th, 2019, defendants flooded the Twitch.tv directory for the game Artifact with dozens of videos that violated Twitch's policies and terms. This included, for example, a video of the March 2019 Christchurch mosque attack, hardcore pornography, copyrighted movies and television shows, and racist and misogynistic videos. Twitch took down the posts and banned the offending accounts, but the offensive video streams quickly reappeared using new accounts. It appears that defendants use automated methods to create accounts and disseminate offensive material as well as to thwart Twitch's safety mechanisms. End quote, I guess. The lawsuit goes on to state that Twitch users who ran across the offending content unintentionally were understandably upset, and some users stopped or reduced their use of Twitch as a result. Twitch was ultimately forced to take the extremely disruptive step of preventing new accounts from doing any streaming at all, and even that apparently wasn't entirely successful. In response, defendants sought to evade these steps using old accounts as well as accounts purchased from other users. the suit states, that's mental. I mean, this whole thing's mental, but that last part's... Because Twitch doesn't currently know who's responsible for the violating streams, the lawsuit identifies the defendants as John and Jane's Doe's 1 to 100. The first defendant, Doe 1, is described as a person or entity responsible in whole or in part for the wrongful conduct alleged herein, who has operated an account on the Twitch services under a pseudonym. Does 2 to 100 ratified endorsed or was otherwise involved in the acts... 2 to 100 ratified, endorsed, or was otherwise involved in the acts complained of and have liabilities for such acts, the suit states. Twitch will update the complaint if and when it learns the legal identities of those involved. And then it's just... Twitch is seeking a permanent and legally enforceable ban on anyone who took part in the terms of service violating streaming, restitution and damages, and legal fees. Don't break the terms of service of things would be my first thing, like, ever, because it can really, really bite you in the arse. Like streaming porn on the Artifact Twitch channel thing, or streaming yourself in a bathroom in California. These are all things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff is worse than others, I'd imagine. The whole church thing is just appalling.
Yeah.
Why anyone would have saved that video apart from the legal team in New Zealand is beyond. Which, given that that's there, and it also mentions race material and stuff, that might explain why people went to the thing of purchasing. Like, other people's accounts that could keep posting this stuff up for a while. But otherwise, I can't understand. I mean, maybe I'm just lazy, but I can't understand the effort that they've put into doing stuff, which wouldn't have had a massive effect.
On Twitch? No, not really. I mean, they did have to shut Twitch.
Users.
They had to shut down the ability to create new created accounts to stream for a couple of days, which is, disruptive. Yeah. And like I can kind of see memes, right? Like, oh, no one's streaming Artifact because Artifact is dead. You know what would be funny if a bunch of us got together and we just posted some like memes.
Yeah.
Like on Twitch, and then when when you get shut down, just like, that was funny, wasn't it? Like. Yeah. Oh, look, we've got articles on people, but it goes so much further than that. Like, to the shit that they were putting out, to, like, buying accounts. Like, you spent money on this to do this. Yeah. Why?
I've accidentally got an old account. I wouldn't know how to sell it, but,
I mean, what the fuck? Like, because you want to stream fucking racist bullshit in... a small corner of Twitch that evidently nobody was going to. I mean, the Artifact channel, I imagine, blew up a bit because this was happening and everybody was like having a look to see what was in there. But
yeah,
I remember vaguely following along with this as it was happening. Like, I never went anywhere in the streams. It was like popping up on like PC Gamer, Polygon, all the places that I normally go to for news. It was like, and at the time I'm thinking like, the fuck, this isn't over yet.
Yeah.
Like, fucking crazy. A lot of people might be getting fined quite a bit of money.
It depends if they can find out who these people were.
Yeah.
I mean...
Some of them, they'll find some of them. Some of them will be traceable. Some of them probably won't be.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of the first ones... were quote unquote queuing for Artifact, like when you're queuing for a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll watch this YouTube video. Like that was how they were sort of doing the whole trolling thing.
Yeah.
So there are probably it depends what they're actually going after and like what kind of content it was. It's a whole thing. We'll probably hear about it more down the line. John Doe's 1 to 100 or.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing with them filing a lawsuit against people they don't know about kind of sounds like they're kind of making this sound like it's like, right, we're putting you all on notice, like we're making a promise that we will prosecute people for this, like a politician promise, but not likely to actually happen.
I mean, lol. I mean, at least Twitch are actually trying to do something about this kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something they want to see happen the next time someone notices there's a dead channel.
Yeah, I mean, discouragement is obviously a big part of this like thing that they're trying to do. I mean, they're doing a hell of a lot better job than YouTube when it comes to shit content on their platform, what they want to do about it. So I can respect the effort.
Yeah.
And when you're faced with that kind of like concentrated sort of like effort, like the effort these people are obviously going to is just mental. Then I kind of they're doing what they can, which is all you can ask for sometimes, rather than doing nothing. Should we talk about NPD?
I'll be honest, the NPD thing I kind of gloss over because it's kind of like you read off a list. I mean, if you want to take over the burden, I will read out the 10 best-selling titles of May, but I won't really know what to say beyond that. Just reading the list.
Oh, I mean, if you want to do a different news story, you feel free to just slot in a different news story right now. But you've got 10 seconds.
Okay, let's talk about. We didn't specify video game story.
It's a video game podcast.
Yeah.
I specified it in the first 50 seconds of the video.
Yeah.
Checkmate, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No problem. So, the top 10 best-selling titles of May 2019. Woo! At number 1, we have Mortal Kombat 11. At number 2, we have Days Gone. Number 3 is Total War, Three Kingdoms. Then we have Rage 2, followed by GTA 5. Can someone please explain to me how this is still in the top selling titles?
See, now
please, someone.
We could have done that.
If someone sell a soul to Satan, and Satan's realized that it means in perpetuity.
I thought you were just gonna read the 10 games, and we weren't gonna be able to have any discussion about
it. Yeah. So it's just
See,
GTA 5 came out like 4 years ago or something, and then we've got Super Smash Bros. Which came out last November. Yeah. And that's behind it. More people have bought GTA 5
in May
since November than Super Smash Bros.
More people bought Super Smash Bros. You're terrible at this. At number 7, Red Dead Redemption 2. At number 8, MLB 19 The Show. At number 9, Minecraft. And at number 10, NBA 2K19. Team Sonic Racing was the only other new entry in the top 20, and it came in at 19th. Yeah, people buy old games. I imagine, I don't know, I can't explain GTA 5. I can't. I imagine there was a promotion on Minecraft. That explains why that's in there. MLB's been selling really well. And Red Dead Redemption 2, I assumed would take the place of GTA 5 in these charts, not join it.
Join us. And together we will the NPD chart as father and son.
Mortal Kombat 11, when I wrote this and I looked at the NPDs and stuff, and I was looking at all the things, I realised not that many new games came out in May.
Yeah, it was a slow month.
It was a pretty slow month, actually. A bunch of indie games, but you never see those on the NPD. A bunch of indie games that you would never see on the NPD because they're popular, but relatively to indie games. Rage 2 getting outsold by Total War 3 Kingdoms, though. Didn't see that coming. Bethesda's marketing machine couldn't propel their big open world shooter beyond Total War 3 Kingdoms, which released on one platform as opposed to Rage 2's 3 platforms.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Days Gone's still up there as well, it's I guess the game getting a middling response online did not affect the sales of it at all.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like Marmite, you love it or you hate it, but it's it's polarizing that enough people are buying it.
I guess. I just think it might come down to what I've always said about the difference between Microsoft and Sony PlayStation. Is that PlayStation fans buy their exclusives and seem to be bought out. Although it makes me wonder how like if Death Stranding comes out and everybody hails it as as a masterpiece, like
Yeah.
how much more that's gonna like, because I'm really fascinated by Death Stranding, like, and I can't wait to see the NPD numbers, because it's like everybody in our video game circle is like
Mhm.
fascinated by this game, right? With good reason. Nobody fucking knows what it is yet,
Yeah.
but like, and then like Matt Piscatella even said like he came out and predicted what he thought the 10 best selling games of the year were going to be, and Death Stranding was in there. And I was
Mhm.
looking at it and I was like, yeah, it is one of the most sort of anticipated games of the year.
Yeah.
But then I thought about my friend Phil, who's got a PlayStation 4 and doesn't play very many games.
Mhm.
Like he's still playing Red Dead 2 from last year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you convince him to buy Death Stranding?
Here's a thought that I've been having. Hideo Kojima is famous for the Solid Snake series of games, right? Metal Gear
So,
games.
I was going to say, so famous. Metal Gear, yeah, Metal Gear.
Yeah. But it's like, I was thinking the character in your head. Solid Snake is this really cool military officer, right? Who goes on cool missions, does really cool things, like,
Uh-huh.
there's weird stuff in there. But a
There
lot
might
of
be.
the weird stuff also gets to the sort of level of, okay, so this is like kind of funny, weird. Whereas Death Stranding has been kind of pitched as A, that in one trailer, B, some sort of weird like monster horror, like oh, be scared of like game was like in what another trailer. But we just see this Norman Reedus character wandering around in a suit, like in a like a survival, not even a military survival suit, but like a Chernobyl. Oh, I'm going to go check the weather conditions suit, right?
Uh-huh.
If this comes out and it's like this guy isn't some sort of kick-ass soldier or anything, I've got a feeling that the number of people who buy this game is going to drop.
I, I think it'll sell well
Yeah, it's always going to sell well. It's
because
always
it's a
going
PlayStation
to sell
exclusive.
really well.
And I'm not trying to knock the game, but when
Yeah,
you talk about Metal Gear, it's like Metal Gear Solid, super easy to sell to someone who like doesn't know much about video games. Oh, it's an
yeah.
open world, like Metal Gear Solid 5. It's an open world stealth action game.
Mhm.
This is how you play it. This is what it's about. This is what it does. You don't even need to mention all the fucking crazy shit that's in it, but
Yeah.
let them find that for themselves. But Death Stranding is nothing but crazy shit, or at least so far. Like I know they've still got a
Yeah.
few months to actually like talk about the game, but it's like I can't describe that game. So if I can't
Well,
describe that game, how am I supposed to
the
recommend it
thing,
to somebody?
in one of the trailers I've had, it was like, oh, there's all this like there was all this weird stuff happening, but we saw tanks in gunships and that guy with a load of zombies attached to him. Can't remember the guy's name, the actor.
Mads
Um,
Mikkelsen.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Yo,
My own personal IMDb. Um, but
Hannibal
then in the
Lecter.
other one, we've got this scenes of him walking across the landscape, hiding from invisible creatures, which like killed someone, or he tried to kill himself before to take them. And there's kind of different implications between those things. It doesn't look like it's going to be a Metal Gear sort of game at all, and I think that might affect its like reception with some people.
Again, I'm just talking about
Yeah,
the normal people, you know, who don't watch
yeah. Oh
podcasts.
yeah, it's like how does
Watch
she
you.
explain this game?
How do you
Because we've got
explain
two
it?
different. I don't want to say they're contradictory, but they're very different. I'm not trailers. We haven't really seen any gameplay in this walking count.
There's been a bit. There's been a tiny sliver. Like he's walking, he's climbing across that ladder across the two, like he made a
Yeah.
bridge. He hit that dude who was chasing him, and he was sneaking a bit. Um, and that was the umbrella. The It's going to be interesting because at some point I would hope that someone, either Kojima or PlayStation or someone, just steps in to get, because I don't think like I think it's cool that it's going to be a very different type of game. I don't want it to be like like a reductive type of thing, but like at the same time someone needs to be able to summarize this game, because
Yeah.
we just tried and it took us like 5 minutes and we still haven't really summarized the game.
No, we don't know enough about it really. It's gotten all and An aura of mystique. Yeah, it's got a like. Yeah,
Aura of
it.
mystique.
So many people know of it because everyone's talking about what on earth is it,
Yeah.
and we'll
What
say
is this shit?
that's a great way to launch a game.
How did Norman Reedus swallow an entire baby?
The baby was him the whole time.
Oh
It's a
yeah, of
closed loop.
course. My mistake. My mistake. I'm still. Maybe it really is just still a Silent Hill game. I can still hold on to hope. Anyway, the top 10 best, because this was a discussion about
Yes,
NPD.
sorry.
No, it's fine. I like it when we go on tangents like that. The top 10 best selling games year to date. At number 1, we have Mortal Kombat 11. Then we have Kingdom Hearts 3, The Division 2, Anthem, Resident Evil 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Red Dead Redemption 2, Days Gone, MLB 19 The Show, and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. We've got a new number 1 for the first time since January.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would take this long for someone to come along and knock Kingdom Hearts 3 of all things off the top.
Are you surprised that in May we've still got Resident Evil 2 in the top 5 spot? In the top 5?
No, because I think the word of mouth on that game was really strong. Like,
Yeah. I have a copy of it. Ergo, it must have been really good.
like the word of mouth on that game. I imagine in the initial thing, it was like everybody who was big fans of Resident Evil 2, or who just saw the gameplay at E3 because holy fuck, bought it. And then what happened is I think the meme started. Now Mr. X meme.
X gonna give it to you.
And then I think that probably did it. And then I think like people who like yourself, who bought the game, played the game, enjoyed the game, like that kind of thing makes people stop and notice. Like if I'm sitting anywhere talking about, oh, Resident Evil 2 is amazing, everybody's gonna go, of course she thinks Resident Evil 2 is amazing. She's like she's Resident Evil. I wish I was wearing my Stars t-shirt right now. But like of course, but Keith said it was good too. And Keith doesn't play Resident Evil games. Then that makes people go, oh shit, this must be really good.
I played Resident Evil 1 back when it came out. I played a bit of Resident Evil 1 back when it came out originally, and then I played Resident Evil 2, and there's a couple of decades in there, like almost 2 decades or something between the two.
Here's a question.
But yeah, I played it because I'd seen you playing it on like Twitch. I was like, yeah, that looks cool.
Great. It was great. I loved it. Played the entire of Claire in the first day, like in one stream. It took me 6.5 hours, and now I'm beating the game in like an hour. Actually, when I'm not getting killed by fucking crocodiles. Here's a question for you on this before we move on to what I've labelled a farcical story in 4 parts. How many of these games that are in the top 10 do you think are still going to be in the top 10 next January?
Like best selling games of the year.
Best selling games, yeah, I don't.
I think Kingdom Hearts 3 will still be up there.
I think the top 3 will still be up there. Like in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And maybe Red Dead 2. And maybe Smash Brothers. I don't think Anthem's going to stick.
No.
I don't think Resident Evil 2 is going to stick.
I don't know.
And I don't think
see Days Gone being in there.
Days Gone's not going to stick. MLB might, maybe. Sekiro definitely won't. Like, looking at the things that are still due to come out. I mean, there's a Call of Duty coming out. Like,
yeah,
we know it's going to win. Like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like, I mean, if you wanted a top bestseller after finishing in second last year, ooh. We have to move on though, Keith. I may cherry pick bits of this own thing.
Yes, please do, because there is a lot. And it's dense, people. The notes are dense.
Because we're in this talk,
which is a first.
It's dense as pictures. I couldn't be honest writing stuff down. There is no point. Tifa's boobs, a 4-part farcical story. Part 1. Gamers of the West. Keith, you were with me, side by side, in E3 2019 when we were watching all of the cool shit. And Final Fantasy VII, it was my game of the show.
Yeah.
Was it your game of the show? I can't remember now.
Probably.
Okay.
I mean, I can double check.
This is how we fill time in on this podcast. Not with
Yeah.
insightful comments, just by making random noises. Apparently. How is this taking so long?
Yeah, this is taking so long because for some reason the actual document that I was looking at has.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
so
just say for the sake of argument, and I'll correct it next week if we're wrong.
yeah.
Final Fantasy VII was our game of the show. At any point, did you pay any mind to Tifa's breasts? I know that sounds like a trick question, but
Yeah, it sounds like a very good question. I did, when Tifa came on the screen, I did check out the outfit, and I was like, it kind of looks a bit like the Advent. I may have said at the time, like, oh, it's like a little bit like the Advent Children one because it's got a vaguely not a certain color. But mostly what was in my mind was, did she have braces in the original? Because I generally couldn't remember if she wore braces. That was the only thing I really thought about the outfit. But I was apparently alone in this.
I mean, this has been trying on for a while, and I think it took me a while. I didn't know, and I should have known, and it took me a while to cotton on, because it was E3, and obviously, like, I was focused on other stuff, but apparently there's been a lot written and said about Tifa's breasts in the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer. And I, for one, am just really annoyed that they're not triangular anymore.
We can't have her acting out with Madonna, okay?
Fuck me. I got two
all I
examples.
wanted from the redo of the characters was something to look a lot like they did in Advent Children for continuity. I mean, I know they have to age up Yuffie, but age Yuffie down.
Yeah. Let them do whatever they want. I got two examples of this discourse. The first one was a question. For one, did sports bras as a concept even exist in FF7's world prior to this remake? Never saw it mentioned, to which I found the fucking screenshot, whereas actually, yes, because you can find it in her fucking dresser during a Nibelheim flashback, and that is apparently a piece of knowledge that will stay with me until the day I die.
I remember this. I did not, however, know that, because I was just wondering. I think I was trying to do the piano bit when I was on PC, and I did find it. But what I was thinking was, I didn't understand that orthopedic meant sports bra. I thought it meant that she had a back problem.
It's a whole, yeah. Essentially, it's because she has a back problem because, like, her proportions are ridiculous. In the original game, it's like, yeah, no shit, she's got a back problem. Have you seen what she's carrying on the front? And the second one was in response was, I couldn't care less. Never played this game anywhere. But what's wrong with big boobs nowadays? Feminists, SJWs, etc. are using their influence to become what they hated in the first place, because this qualifies as just plain discrimination. Discrimination, yeah. Discrimination. And at that point, I stopped. Because I was like, there's so much more. And I've read it, and I wish I hadn't. And I didn't want to bring all of it in. There's some fucking corkers, though. These are the two examples is all I could stomach. Incidentally, the gamers, and I put a little trademark next to it, gamers, also had choice thoughts about such evils as Cyberpunk 2077, allowing players to create transgender and non-binary characters, Animal Crossing allowing players to customize the skin tone of their avatar for the first time, Zelda's haircut, and Bloodstained's protagonist being female, and that was all in just the past fucking week. It's been fucking mental what's been going on the internet for this past week.
If you have an issue with being able to change the skin tone of your own, like, your personification in Animal Crossing to be another color other than the default, you have an issue. It's like the whole gay marriage thing. It's like, if the very idea of two people who you don't know and have no interaction with being happy in a relationship, you have issues and should seek some sort of psychological counseling to make your own life better, not vent on the internet and make other people's life worse.
Preach.
Why are people having issues with Animal Crossing? Sorry, I hadn't heard about that one.
Animal
That
Crossing.
one's tripping me off.
There's the scene at the end of the trailer. It might not have been a trailer, it might have been something else, where they all come out and they're all standing on the beach and they're all like looking off at the horizon. And I was like, cool. That seems to indicate that might indicate, because the island looks quite small. So maybe they're gonna go somewhere else. Maybe the island's just a prologue. You know, I'm starting like spitballing, theorizing and stuff. And it turns out that people are getting mad because you can change the color of the skin tone for the characters.
Your skin tone matters more than it should do in real life. It should not matter in a first-person game, like a game of people playing pretty much bad.
It shouldn't matter in a game.
It shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't.
I don't get why this is an issue.
None of this should matter. People are complaining that fucking SJWs are going to ruin Zelda because Zelda got a haircut. Like,
I have loved some of the stuff coming off the back of that trailer. Zelda.
Some of that stuff.
Because some of it is really wholesome. Some of it is like really fun.
Anyway, part 2, a mistranslation. This comes from Eurogamer, and I want you to remember this is a mistranslation because I'm going to read it, and then I've got another bit afterwards. Square Enix has an ethics department and told the Final Fantasy VII Remake developers to, quote, restrict Tifa's chest. This is from Wesleyan Poole over a Eurogamer, who incorrectly wrote, Square Enix has an ethics department, and it kind of sounded like I was throwing shade at Wesleyan Poole there. I'm not. It's just this is wrong. Ethics department, a new interview has revealed, and it advised the Final Fantasy VII Remake team on development. Specifically, the ethics department told the remake developers to restrict Tifa's chest, according to comments made by director Tetsuya Nomura in a new interview with Famitsu, translation by Digital Foundry's John Linneman. The original Final Fantasy VII character models created for PS1 are of course unrealistic, 20 years later making highly detailed modern characters for PS4 threw up new issues. Quote, it was necessary to restrict her chest, end quote. That's the whole quote. Nomura says in the interview, it talks about modernizing the thing. So that made things better.
Yeah. When I said, like, I read this, it was basically, yeah, so what you're basically saying is we don't want jiggle physics in this game because of all the memes that'll happen.
We want Tifa to look like a human woman.
Yeah.
In the remake. But I'm just going to growl right into it before we discuss this part. That's not what happened. Part 3. What Nomura actually said. FF7 Remake. Tifa isn't getting a smaller chest, just a proper bra. This is from Casey DeFreitas over at IGN, who wrote, this week, fans and media outlets reacted to a translated Tetsuya Nomura interview from Famitsu about Final Fantasy VII's Tifa with very conflicting interpretations. In the interview, Nomura is said to have been told by Square Enix's ethics department to restrict or constrict Tifa's chest. Twinfinite has the full interview and has an editor's note reading, the context and wording indicated clearly that this refers to the tightness and design of Tifa's clothing, not her chest. Previously, restrict was interpreted as shrink by some. As pointed out by game producer and well-known Monster Hunter content creator Gaijin Hunter and others, this is simply not the case. As Twinfinite mentioned, with the full context, it's easier to infer that restrict in Japanese is meant to be understood as bind or squeeze, as opposed to shrink. In summary, Tifa was not requested to get a smaller chest, only to be given a proper garment. There's been more words written about Tifa's boobs this week than there has about anything else that's happened in video games.
Indeed.
Even if the ethics department went around and said, you know what, we should probably make our proportions a bit smaller. I mean, that's not a terrible thing. But that's not even what they did. They were like, oh, give her a sports bra. Just give her a sports bra. That's all they said. Anyway, the gamers were still kicking off about all of this. I've seen the ethics department thing like continuously thrown up in quotes. Yes?
I was going to say, I did quickly check it. And the next bit you're about to go into is like over a full page of A4. How long? How much words is there actually in this bit? Like this section, it's like 3 pages of A4. That's the longest. This is the longest discussion we've ever had on anything on this podcast on a single thing.
We did an E3 podcast last week.
Yes, but each individual.
I get you.
Yeah. Each individual stage.
I'm not going to read the whole thing. I put the whole thing in there, but I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to be.
Yeah, I'm so glad for that because it literally is over a page.
Part 4. This is from Callie. I've never known how to pronounce her second name. Plaggy? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Over at GameSpot, who capped this whole story off with probably the best possible like full stop to this story, like which the story called "We Need to Talk About How Bra Sizes Work." Here's the story. As any number of women's magazines will tell you, 80% of women are wearing the wrong bra size. That's probably because bra shopping is hell on earth and basically impossible unless you invite a total stranger into the fitting room to help measure you properly. But it might also be as a result of our society's complete misunderstanding of what bra sizes even are. If the video game discourse is any indication, most people seem to think bra sizes stop at double D, and that anything smaller than huge badonkers is in the A to B range. I'm talking, of course, about Tifa Lockhart, who has been accused of having B-cup breasts, as her character model in the Final Fantasy VII Remake looks different from her extra busty appearance in the PS1 era, as well as the entire female cast of Mortal Kombat 11 for that matter. Now, these are fictional women who have top-of-the-line physics engines supporting them, so it's not like they really need the extra support from an $80 Lululemon sports bra. But if we're going to use bra size as a shorthand to talk about fake women's bodies, we're going to do it right, goddammit. And then the rest of it is, it's literally explaining how bra sizes work in great detail. Like, there's the band size, which is the size just of your rib cage. And then there's the cup size, which is the size of the actual boob. And what happens is, I can sum this up like much quicker, so I'm just going to do that. So what happens is, you measure around your band size, and you get the number. So whatever the number is, that's what you get. And then you measure around the fullest part of the boob. And the difference, for every inch, that's your cup size. So if there's a 3-inch difference, you're a C cup. That's how bras work. Surprisingly enough, as it's even mentioned in here, because Tifa's got a small waist and quite large breasts, even in the remake, she's probably around about an F cup. Like, just as a visual sort of reference.
Yeah.
Like, but no, she's a B cup because her boobs are proportioned.
Yeah. So, I was going to do my one bit of intro and for men, think of the difference between this and this, and your waist size on your trousers and your leg size.
Sure.
You need to have both of them together to work out what sort of trousers you get. That's all I can put into that.
Bra sizes are mental. And it's just, we're at a point where screeching about I can't even put it into words why this is so dumb. Not the story or the article itself. That was, probably really helpful to nobody, because I'm sure the people who needed the lesson probably are off on the other parts of the internet doing something somewhere and complaining about Tifa's B-cup boobs. Which,
I mean,
even if
most of them, I imagine, skip between that and Rule 34. But
even if they were B-cups, that would be fine too.
The only thing I like about this is because I didn't see the initial hubbub, as many things do on this podcast, it passed me by. But then I see the retort, and I get to see because I follow so many artists on Twitter, it's like 90% or more of who I follow on Twitter as artists. I have seen the most wonderful picture retorts to this, including people complaining that Aries' antenna that she used to greet other people and find out what's going on in the world by rubbing it on people, as is seen in the original game. You know, that big thing that sticks ahead. It's been replaced with some sort of this thing of hair come down. That's not useful. That's not practical. She has to get even closer to people instead of just walking nearby. I mean, she was blind in that game. Did you not know? She just walk till it was like whiskers on a cat. That's how she knew where to stop. Oh, my hair has hit somebody. I must stop now. But the other one, it's the best one, is Cloud's hands, which are bigger than his own thighs in the original game if you look at his sprite. Yet he has normal sized hands in the new game. And no one's complained about this.
Well, no, of course not, because, nobody cares about a dude's hands. It's all about... But as soon as you...
No one cares about historical accuracy.
As soon as... Yeah, apparently. As soon as you give a character, not even a boob reduction, just a sports bra, which she'd definitely be wearing, because she does backflips and punches and flying kicks, robots and shit.
Yeah. I did notice in some of the pictures people were using for this, and she's also wearing bicycle shorts underneath and stuff, which I think was a good move on their part, on Square Enix's part as well. But I'm just sitting here just like, seriously? She's still got big breasts.
They're huge.
It's just they're not as massive. It's because the sprites were like so condensed. It was like, we need to exaggerate. It's like a caricature. The sprites were caricatures of people, basically.
I mean, all of them were. Like, Barrett's is huge.
Barrett's is a massive triangle. He's like, to show that he's a big buff person, they buffed up the top part of the sprite, but they didn't have room for the rest of it, so his legs are quite small. Yeah. Cloud's hair is ludicrously oversized. You don't see that in the new one. His spikes are a lot shorter in the remake because it was a caricature. And this is going to be the same for all of the characters that come in. I mean, we haven't seen Yuffie yet. There may be some people complaining that she'll look too young, or those people complaining that she's looked old, because she's like,
I doubt
she's like, she's what, 16 in Advent Children?
No, she was 16 in Final Fantasy VII.
16 Final Fantasy VII, and then she's like 18 in Advent Children.
Something like that.
Yeah, but she's much younger in like the original game, and I've got a feeling people are going to kick off on that when we see them, when we see her.
I doubt it. Like Xenoblade Chronicles too. The controversy will come if they decide to make her older for the remake, and then everybody will kick off again. SJWs. I just want to the boob thing. I put the bra thing in there because it's funny. The rest of the story because it's thing. The paragraph I inserted myself about all of the different things that are happening on this week just alone. Like, this happens all the time. Like, this kind of shit is on a weekly thing. We were talking about before last week's podcast. We were talking about the poster in the background of the screenshot of the Cyberpunk 2077 screenshot. Yeah. We didn't talk about it on the show. I think we briefly might have mentioned it because we were talking about Cyberpunk, but it wasn't like a news story that we talk about. There's so much stuff we don't talk about on this podcast. And I don't know. I just felt like I was super frustrated about this, but I think a lot of it had to do with I was super frustrated about all of this stupid shit. Yeah. I was funneling it all into one thing, so I kind of wanted to be like, actually, it's all of this stuff.
You wanted to rant, and then I wept when I saw how many pages of material you...
Did, Did you see the poster, the poster from Cyberpunk? Did you know they had a massive blown out version of it at the E3 booth?
No.
I found this out. I was watching Girlfriend Reviews went to E3, and they went to see Cyberpunk, and it was there, and I was like, all right, so that whole thing about it's just a poster mocking corporations for using hypersexualized imagery to sell their products. So we blew it up to massive size and we put it in our booth to sell our product.
Yeah.
You fucking.
I'll be honest. I think it was a little over the top, that poster.
I've said. Like context. There could be context that explains it. There probably won't be, given CD Projekt Red's past with regards to this stuff.
Yeah, I was just remembering the Watchmen film for a second there. I'm sure you can go on.
No, it's bullshit. What can you do about it? The people of CD Projekt Red, they can do no wrong. Games out this week. You go first, Keith.
No, you go first.
No, I insist. You go first.
Okay, so out on the 24th of PC, we have Seven Kerrigan Reflection. On the 25th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, we have Monster Jam Steel Titan. Then we have Judgment from Project Judge on the PS4. Is that the Yakuza game?
Yeah.
Cool. And then we have Samurai Showdown for the PS4 and Xbox One, coming also on the 25th.
On the 27th of June, we have the Seeking City coming to PS4, PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And we also have Fort Boyard coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. On June 28th, we've got F1 2019 coming to PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And Super Mario Maker 2 coming to Switch. I'm super looking forward to that. Did you know Fort Boyard?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what it is. The game show that was on UK TV years and years ago. Did you know it's been on non-stop in France?
No, I didn't know that. I mean, when you said, do you know Fort Boyard? I'm like, yeah, it's the Napoleonic era.
It's the thing.
Naval fort set in the channel.
That's
and then when he said, you know, the TV show, I was like, oh, yes, it was. Yeah, it was
that's
like kind of Crystal Maze.
Yeah, it was like 2 seasons in the UK. Because when I saw this coming out, it was in my queue because I've got all the new releases queued up on Boomerang. Yeah. It was in my queue, and I was like, I'm not getting that. But I'm very curious. I'm thinking this game show was like fucking what, 15 years old or something. They're bringing a game out, so I went down the rabbit hole, and I found out, this game is really popular in France. It's been going non-stop for like 2 decades in France. I was like, so there's your fun fact for the week. I couldn't believe it. It's been exported to about 30 different countries. But it originated in France and it's been going since the 90s. Which I found really fascinating. Mm-hmm. And that probably explains why there's a video game.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a Crystal Maze video game, but that was a long time.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It was a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire video game that you could memorize the answers to within about 2 hours because there weren't that many questions. Kind of killed the replayability of the game.
If you're looking for a game like that, go for Knowledge is Power. PS.
The phone PlayLink one.
Yes, it's the one you use the phone as a controller for. We played like every Christmas.
I played that at EGX one year with Fix and Haley. And the rep from the PlayStation rep, and we ganged up on the PlayStation rep. As you do. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of the Words About Gamescast. What the future brings, who the fuck even knows anymore? Life is crazy. Everything's burning down around us. And we'll probably end up talking about Tifa's boobs some more. Until then, say bye, Keith.
I was going to say, people have been talking about Tifa's boobs almost as long as Laura Croft. Yada.